Hello everyone and welcome to the iCode channel. Today I'm going to show you real quick how to connect your Atari 5200 handheld controller to your PC using your USB port. And you must wonder, how are we going to connect this, which has a 15-pin connector, to our USB port? And why would we want to do that anyway? Well, if we can do that and make this look like a regular gamepad, we can play any game that you can use your regular modern controllers with, like Xbox controller or any of these controllers. You can play all those games even with the 5200 controller. But best of all, you can also play the original classic games, like the 5200 games, using an emulator on your Windows PC or any other type of computer that you have, whether it's your phone, it's your laptop, your MacBook. They can all make it work with your 5200 controller. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Today I'm going to show you quickly on Windows, but the same thing applies with any kind of emulator. So the magic behind this is this little device called the iCode Duo Ultimate. The Duo Ultimate has 2 ports on it, and these 2 ports can connect to a variety of different types of controllers. It can control to like Atari Joysticks, Paddles, Driving Controllers, Trackball controllers. It can even connect to Intellivision classic controllers with a disc on it. It can connect to ColecoVision controllers. It can connect to Sega Genesis, and of course the 5200 controller, as well as the 5200 trackball. But today I'm going to show you how to connect this to the Duo. So to do that, the Duo, you can get a lot of optional accessories for it. And one of the first ones introduced is this, the 5200 Coupler Kit. The kit comes with 2 couplers in there. So basically you've got what we call a double coupler and a single. This is a single because it only has 1 port on it, and then it has a double. The single is used for single player games where you need to use the keypad, and it works fully with all the directions, the buttons on top, and the full 12 keypads. You use a single coupler for that. If you want to play 2-player games, you use the dual coupler, and that's what I'm going to plug in now. You just plug it in like that, and then this is player 1 on the left, and you connect that here, and then you can connect the second joystick here, and that lets you play dual players and fully support the joystick, the 3 buttons on the top, the side buttons, but without this 12-key keypad. The 12-key keypad does need this little single coupler. So for two-player games, just use the dual coupler. For single-player games that you want to use a keypad, use this one. Okay. Or if you always want single player, you can always use this one. That's fine too. So how does this device work? So let me show you. Now that I've connected it, I've connected this to my Windows PC. Let me switch to my Windows PC, and here I'm on Windows, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up my game controllers, and you'll notice that Windows sees 2 game controllers connected because one is on port 1 and one is on port 2. So that's these 2 here. If I double click on the first one, it opens up this properties where I can actually see the controller working. So notice if I can move up and down, the controller's working. I also get feedback on the screen. So the screen gives me instant feedback as well. All my buttons are working, so if I push button 1 and button 2, they light up on the screen. And then these 3 buttons also light up as buttons 9, 10, and 11. And they can all be changed on the device using the menu system or on the web, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So now that we've got our controller connected, how do we use it for games? Of course, you can run it just like any other game that you have on your PC. That if you can use a game controller, you'll be able to use this 5200 controller. But for emulation, for classic games, let me show you, for example, here I'm running the Altera, which is my favorite 5200 emulation controller, and the Atari 8-bit 8-bit emulator is the Altera. The Altera, it's really good because it's easy to configure the input, and you can configure all your keys as well on the device. So let me show you. I've already created one called iCode Duo, but you can also create one. I'm going to just push add, and then I'm going to push, just type in something like Atari, doesn't matter. Then you double click on this and go ahead and click add controller, and then pick the 5200 controller because that's the one that we want to configure, and it'll automatically use that template and it knows that the 5200 button has two buttons, has the directions, the keypad, and then the start select, but none of them are mapped. So next we need to map them. So we go to button 1 and you just press the whichever button you want to be button 1. I'm going to pick the lower one. So that's, you see it changed this to button 1. Then click OK. Then do the second one and put the other button, press the other button, click OK. Then skip these left, right, up and down. Well, actually, let's do it. I'm going to go to the left and hold this to the left. And you see it says Joy Access 1L, which means left. I'm going to do right. We'll do this quickly. OK. Up. I'm going to go up. Oops, not R. Up, which is U. OK. Down. 1D. And then I'm going to go to, this is the most important one, analog stick horizontal. And move to the left or right. You'll see an H here, which is perfect. And then we're going to do this one, which is vertical. I'm going to go up and down, and you'll see V come up. So we're done with that. I'm going to skip the keypad for now because I got the dual coupler connected, but you would do it the same way. And then I'm going to go to the start. So I'm going to map start to the start button here. So you'll see it says Joy button 9 because that's what start button was. And then reset. I'm going to press the reset button. Oops, 11. And then I'm going to push pause, which is 10. So that's really all there's to it. Once you do that, you push the little check mark and you're ready to go. Okay. So this is basically the same thing that I set up. So now that we're in there, you just, pick your boot image. For example, I've got asteroids here, which I picked up. Pick 5200 as the emulation. Click OK. And, your game is basically going to load up. And now I'll be able to use these buttons on the top. So I can push start, and it'll start the game. And notice I can move left and right. My fire button is working. My forward buttons, my backward buttons, they're all working pretty well. So it's, gives you, that classic feel. So just like the original. So let me quickly do another game just so you get the feel. I recently booted Vanguard, Pac-Man, Berserk, Defender, Dig Dug, Joust. These all work great. But let's apply Defender. I like Defender. Let's push the start button again. And I'm going to push start. So notice, I can move up and down. I can go left and fire. And if I wanted to push pause, I can push pause. Now with Defender, you've got smart bombs and hyperspace. So I could have mapped some of these to those, but I didn't do that yet. But it gives you the idea that these keys all function. And then reset, of course, it's not mapped for some reason in this game. I think they use those for those additional buttons. So that's really all there's to it. Very simple to do. And let me pause the game here. And then I want to show you quickly how to do additional configurations. So when you get the Duo Ultimate, you can configure it two ways. You can either use the menu button and configure through the menu system. It has all the configurations that allow you to switch what kind of controller it is. You want to emulate a D-pad, right stick, left stick, trackballs. Those are all controlled through here. And I have other videos that show you that. You can map all these buttons to additional settings to like start, select, Like in the game, I could have pressed this to be hyperspace, this one to be the smart bomb, and so on. It's got a directional switch, so you can actually use this like a gamepad too, like a small gamepad, which is kind of cool. It's got a built-in speaker because it does have some mini games that you can play on the little screen. I won't get into that too much, but they're a lot of fun to play. So you can also do that. And then you can configure it instead of through the menu system using your standard Chrome browser. So here I've got my Chrome browser. You just go to iCodeHub.icode.com. You click on the connect button on the top. Pick your USB connection because that's what I've got it connected to. I'm going to press connect. And it comes up. So now the device basically has these slots on the left, which are the preset slots. So you can save different types of configurations for different games. So here's my 5200 controller games. So if I want to use my driving controller, this is preset for driving. This is set for keypads, and so on. But each of these have the configuration on the right. So the 5200 games, notice I've got 5200 as my controller. I've got it set for Atari. And then I can control, what happens when I press fire button. I can make it do multiple things, even press keys on the keyboard, mouse clicks, and so on. Those are all possible. So lots of configurability possible with these. And you have all these preset slots that you can switch between them very, very easily. So that's all I wanted to show you today. It was mainly to how to get your Duo Ultimate to work with the 5200 controllers using the accessory kit. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, give me a thumbs up. Leave some comments with questions. You can find these at www.icode.com, iCode.com. Have a great day. Take care.